I don't think anybody was expecting what we saw, and that was the revival of the Grand Inquisitor. He is indeed alive and not dead as we presumed he would be after watching him die in Star Wars Rebels. What is going on? There were a lot of fans asking, how is it possible that Darksiders could come back from death? How was Vader able to capture the Grand Inquisitor after his death and enslave him inside that Jedi outpost as long as he desired? This is the issue that I want to tackle today, and to tackle that, of course, we have to go to two things: Darth Vader's castle and Lord Momin. Now, as many of you remember, Lord Momin was an ancient Sith Lord that was cursed by the dark side itself inside his mask. He was doomed to live the eternity inside that mask until somebody would awaken him. If that person or somebody else were to put Momin's mask on them, then Momin would come back to life, wielding the body of the host, but as himself. Naturally, this opened up a lot of things that were previously impossible in Star Wars. Objects now were cursed in a way that they could contain a person. Holocrons contain knowledge, but the Mask of Momin was something way beyond that. What's even crazier is that Palpatine got it from inside the Jedi Temple, from Jakastanu's hideout, so the Jedi were actually keeping it secret from the galaxy. Darth Vader, of course, jumped at the chance to use Momin for his knowledge, his architectural knowledge, as he was artistic as it could be. He was so edgy that basically even the Sith were revolted by him and did not consider him part of the Brotherhood. The ancient Sith and the modern Sith did not teach anything about Lord Momin, but for Darth Vader, I don't think that was possible. Vader wanted to go to any length in order to revive Padme Amidala again, especially after Revenge of the Sith. The 2018 comic series shows that Vader was ready to go to any length in order to bring Padme back from the dead, and this is the answer of how I think Darth Vader revived the Grand Inquisitor from death. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely want Disney to put out a comic or something to that nature in order to explain officially in canon how this was done. But me having the knowledge that I have and reading all these comics, I could basically sum it up in one answer, and that is, of course, Vader's castle on Mustafar. You see, somebody coming back from the dead, or at least coming back from the past, is not something new. Two things happened in Star Wars canon very recently that changed everything. That is, from Star Wars Rebels, we see the world between worlds. That was the void that was suspended in time and space, where Ezra actually saved Ahsoka Tano. Palpatine was quickly made aware of this, but were not made sure if he knew how to access it. So this option for me is eliminated. The Grand Inquisitor was not revived through the world between worlds. Vader and Palpatine might have been collaborating to bring the Grand Inquisitor back, but I don't think so. That's a stretch too far. So what I think actually happened is exactly what happened to Momin himself. After Vader just opened the portal to the next dimension, right at that time, the Mustafarians decided to attack the Sith Lord's castle. He was then forced to go help out the stormtroopers that were guarding the place and dismantle the Mustafarians before he could proceed. Their numbers were overwhelming, and so Vader left Momin to his own devices and warned him to not do anything until he returns. But of course, the Sith and their treacherous nature, Momin just could not help himself. His final masterpiece would be awakened finally, and his masterpiece was, of course, himself, as Momin opens a portal from Vader's castle, revives his own self. He brings himself out from the past and into the present, giving the mask to the original Momin, who comes out of the portal and now exists in this realm with Darth Vader. Once Darth Vader is back, he immediately finds out what happened and quickly battles Lord Momin, the original Lord Momin at that, but still he was no match for the Dark Lord of the Sith and Darth Vader, who was all too powerful and all too determined to enter that world and bring Padme back from the dead. Once Momin was dead, now it was officially confirmed in canon that somehow, some way, there could be a way to bring people back from the dead. Vader did not have that luck with Padme Amidala as she was destroyed inside that realm. However, Momin shows us that it could happen. One weird little thing that happens at the end of the 2018 comic series of Darth Vader is that Vader, after he exits the portal, he grabs his lightsaber and plunges it into the altar. What happens next is basically insinuated that he probably destroyed the altar, but it is not made exactly clear as he plunges the lightsaber into the altar and it gives out this dark energy and red lightning outside of his castle, symbolizing something. So perhaps he did not completely destroy it, leaving out hope that he might use it again. But even if he destroyed it, there is the possibility of another way of him accessing the afterworld, because again, we saw this in the VR game Vader Immortal. Similarly, his castle was involved, but now a totally different relic was to be used to bring back Padme. So this gives us multiple options of how people could be brought back from the dead, and both of them coincidentally involve Darth Vader using some sort of interdimensional supernatural thing to bring back people from the dead. Therefore, it is not out of the possibility that Darth Vader did in fact open the portal once more and brought the Grand Inquisitor out from death. Since he is engulfed in fire, it could possibly be that he was captured as he entered the fire once he was falling into his death. This is why he is always suspended in fire. This symbolizes basically life after death, and something worse than death, as the Grand Inquisitor warned us. This is it. Vader literally grabbed him out of death and into servitude for him into this realm. He will forever burn and exist only when Vader wishes. It is a cruel, cruel fate to have, but he did warn us. The Grand Inquisitor knew something that the public and Kanan Jarrus did not, since he said that before he jumped to his death and into the fire. He knew what Vader was capable of, especially now with his castle and this portal. Supernatural things were happening, and the Grand Inquisitor was well aware. This knowledge that the Grand Inquisitor possessed did not just come from him experiencing how cruel Darth Vader was and how powerful he was, but from reading everything inside the Jedi library. In the comics, we see the Grand Inquisitor rifling through books inside the Jedi library as he was thirsty for knowledge and wanted to know everything. So who's to say that the Grand Inquisitor ultimately got this knowledge from the Jedi library? He understood that things were possible that were worse than death. Death would be an optimal solution to what is possible through the Force or through Sith magic. Again, I bring back the possibility that Palpatine and Vader were collaborating at this point, maybe used some Sith alchemy to bring the Grand Inquisitor back, or at least once Vader brought him back from the portal and inside this realm, with Sith alchemy they were able to enslave him forever in servitude to Darth Vader and the Sith. It is basically the cleanest and most obvious answer I could give right now, but of course that doesn't mean I'm completely right. Disney, we're waiting. Let's see what actually happened or if I'm right. But what do you guys think as well? Talk to me down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, leave a thumbs up down below, subscribe for dailies. Now you have an awesome day, Star Wars fans. I'll see you in the next video, and may the Force be with you. Until then.